Hello there designer, so in this tutorial you'll be learning how to draft a pattern and make this beautiful cowl sleeve, so stay tuned. Hello there designer, you're welcome to this very short tutorial. Or in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to go ahead with a cowl sleeve. Right, there are different types of cowl sleeves, but I like this particular variation because there's this look of simplicity it gives as well as the elegance. Right, so I have my basic sleeve pattern here, and of course on this channel we share tutorials that are very beginner friendly. We are out for beginners, so you want to make sure that you are clicking on the subscribe button and following us on our Facebook and Instagram platforms so that you stay abreast of what happens with Style with Bloom or any tutorial that comes up here. So I have my basic sleeve pattern here. There's a link in the description box that takes you to how to draft this basic sleeve pattern or how I drafted this. So I'm going to be altering this to a cowl sleeve. Right. Now this is our elbow line. You want to take note of your elbow line. And this is our wrist. So for my elbow line, I'm going to come up by 4 inches. And then on this other side, I'm going to come up by 1 inch. I'm going to connect the 2 points. And then from this point, right, I'm going to connect to the midpoint of this sleeve. Now, the way this sleeve was drafted, it wasn't drafted for you to deepen your armhole line or your arm's eye, right? So if you want to do that, you can just connect from this original line into this point and then use your curve to connect it to this point. Now you have the deeper armhole, right? But I'll keep this because you can still use this original one for both the back and the front. I'm sure that you know that when you're fixing your sleeve, you have one part that goes to the back and one part that goes to the front, right? So from this point, I'm going to come up by another about 2 inches and connect upwards. So basically, what we're doing here is the slash and spread method of creating fullness. So I'll cut this open. And when you're cutting this, you're not cutting this to the end. You also cut this point. And then you cut this point. So you can see how I cut this. I didn't cut it to the end. I have about 0.25 inch before I get to the end. Sorry, this one's separated, so I'm going to have to tape it back because we don't want it to be separate, right? So if you're finding it a bit difficult to understand what I'm doing, just follow the tutorial, watch it and get your piece of paper and follow through and you see it come to life, right? So you want to keep this point straight and tape it down. So you can see me just spreading this open and taping it down. So you're going to draw out your shoulder line. And then you're going to draw out this line to connect it. So you can see what I have here. So at this point, our grain line for this sleeve has changed. This is now unbiased. You can see that it's no longer straight. It's slant. If you don't understand the concept of grain line and what I mean, you want to take our beginners course, right? A beginners course teaches you how to take accurate measurements, teaches you in detail. It's different from a YouTube video. It teaches you in detail how to take accurate measurements, the basics of sewing, right? From pattern drafting to the cutting and the sewing of 6 outfits. So you want to make sure that you take that course so that when you hear grain line the next time, you understand what I mean. So you can see I cut on the line that we connected, and then you connect your armhole. So take note that this is still your armhole. Then of course so you can see we have our cowl sleeve here. I'll put this paper aside and I'm going to bring in my fabric now, and then we are going to cut this out on fabric, right? So I've put my fabric and my fabric is on fold, right? I've already cut out of this fabric to make the dress part of this. So we're just working on the sleeve. So my fabric is folded. Now this midpoint, let me take this so that it doesn't confuse you. So you want to make sure that this midpoint is on the folded part, right? We have this point that is open, right? And then we have this other point that is folded here. So you want to make sure the midpoint of your sleeve that has this our line that we connected, right, is so if you have more fabric than I have here, you can actually fold this on bias. Right. Now the bias grain line is still something that was taught in our beginners class. So you want to check the description box, and it's a paid course. Pay for that course and understand what grain lines mean, right? It's taught in depth there. So this grain line has changed. So if you have more fabric, yes, you can fold it on bias and you can cut. But if you don't have any more fabric like I do, you can just cut it the way you can see me doing, or place it the way you see me doing. So you see it unfold here. So I'm adding my allowances. You can add 2 inches here, 2 inches, connect the both points. Sorry about that. And then to this upper point, we're adding half an inch and half an inch. So at this point, we can cut this sleeve out. Now I'm not adding lining to this sleeve. You're going to be adding lining to this sleeve. You want to make sure that you have more fabric and you add more allowance so that your lining doesn't eat up. So you can see our armhole area here. So you can take this to your sewing machine, sew this point by half of an inch, and then attach this armhole to the armhole part of your dress, right? And sew these points together, and then you have your cowl sleeve. So I'm going to do all of that and I'm going to show you what we have. So the designers, at this point you can see I have gone ahead to sew at the upper part of this sleeve right, just a straight line. And then you can see the part that is supposed to be attached to the armhole of the dress. It's clear what part is what part, right? So you go ahead and do that with yours, and you can see our cowl sleeve coming to life. So this is what I had when I fixed this sleeve onto the dress. Now if you want to learn how I made that dress in very detailed video lessons, kindly check description. There will be a link for you to chat with us directly and register for the beginners class. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.